last night again, I got to watch the brilliance of Nikola Jokic. Speaking about big numbers that we might be getting tired of, he had his third 40-point triple-double in the season, okay? I think that's like the most ever by a non-guard in NBA history. And we're just kind of like, oh, like another Nikola Jokic great day. I'm wondering, what do you think about Nikola Jokic as he marches toward what looks like a third straight MVP? I think you kind of talked to a bunch of stars at All-Star about it, right?
Yeah, I've never been totally comfortable with the idea of voter fatigue, because as someone who's had the privilege to vote now for, basically the last 10 years or so of my career covering the NBA, I do think there's a natural human expectation that if someone wins something, you got to do something better to win it again. Like, I don't think that is outside the realm of what should be considered appropriate when considering an awards ballot. At the same time, sometimes if that is used too much in the equation of everything that you are considering to fill out your ballot, then you get something like, and Giannis was great when I asked him about this. He said, look, LeBron has 4 MVPs in 20 years. Jordan had 5 MVPs in 15 years. Did anybody get that right? Like, come on. And in a way, Giannis was talking about himself. He's had 2, and he believes he could have probably double that. I don't even know more than that. But at the same time, like, if the guy is clearly the guy, don't second guess it. Don't go back and try to think of a reason based on the years past. Just award excellence. Now, Jokic has such a case this year from being number 1 in the West, which is, to me, basically the best part of his argument that gets me paying attention. Number 3 in the league in assists as a center, averaging a triple-double. One stat I saw, which was unbelievable, I think he's only had 1 game all season where he shot less than 50% from the field.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. Like, think of the efficiency of that. If you're his teammate, how reliable is that? You never have to deal with BS shots. You never have to deal with playing outside of himself. Just steady and consistent. Like that.
I mean, you can make the argument he needs to shoot more, and
yeah,
he's
right.
not selfish enough to do it.
Right.
I mean, Dave,
that was a stat that was wild to me.
I mean, okay, you hit the nail on the head about number 1 in the West. What are they going to say now to poke holes in this argument? Because prior to that, everybody was like, oh, the Nuggets are 5th in the West or whatever it was, right? I think the biggest knock that people have, and I guess I'm coming from the standpoint of people who support Joel Embiid and anybody else who they think should win, is they always say, well, Jokic is not the best player in the NBA, right? When you think about it, you think of the LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant. Is Joel Embiid the best player? Obviously, Giannis, right? Nobody thinks Jokic is.
Tatum, right.
Right. And then even in like the All-Star game, which it still baffles me that the All-Star game does not suit Nikola Jokic's game, because, I mean, he's probably the best passer we've seen since Magic Johnson as far as a big man's concerned. You know what I mean? You would think like this would be suited for him, but he always says the All-Star game is not for him, and he ends up not doing very well. But listen, if he wins a third straight MVP, and I think people will look back on this, and maybe people who don't watch Nikola Jokic every night on the floor, if you watch him, you understand. If you don't, you just see the stats. You may think this is going to be a point in history where people say, oh, Steve Nash won 2 MVPs, right? Nikola Jokic, no. Nikola Jokic, what he does every night is freaking amazing. And he's going to be probably the third straight an MVP for 3 years in a row, which the last guy to do was Larry Bird, which people still don't really understand Larry Bird's greatness. Larry Bird was amazing. I mean, until when he had to battle back injuries, but Larry Bird for the longest time was a top 5 player of all time in my list until LeBron came along. But LeBron, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, only guys ever to win 3 straight MVPs. So I think that should state Nikola Jokic's greatness. I mean, he took over the game when he had to last night against the Clippers, and he was unstoppable. He got like 2 or 3 offensive rebounds in overtime. I mean, it was just, there was nothing the Clippers could do. Yes, they did not have Ivica Zubac on the floor, a taller big who could maybe match him in size. But I mean, like, Mason Plumlee was doing everything they could. They sent staggered double teams. There, if you double Nikola Jokic, he will find a way to burn you. And I think the reason why also, and I said this early in the season when I went on with Windhorst and those guys on the pod, I told them, I said, I think Nikola Jokic is going to be even better this season because he has Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. back. And that's why I think you're going to see him shoot even better. And so that shooting statistic is amazing.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.